It's been said that when dancing is outlawed, only outlaws will dance.
Yeah? Did she ever get busted for bopping?
Welcome to Good Times with Bad Movies. I'm Paul Ireland. Joining me as always is my fantastic co-host, Tim Morrison. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing really good, man. Actually, I'm really excited today because we're going to be talking about a movie that a lot of people like and probably might not like us taking a bit of a dump on. But we're going to anyways, maybe. We'll see. We're talking about 1984's Footloose from Paramount. And I know a lot of people have seen this movie. Maybe some people forget how it goes a bit. And if you haven't seen it and you just want to jump along with us and hang out, it's about a teenager from Chicago who moves to a small town where he soon discovers that rock music and dancing have been banned. And his rebellious spirit shakes up the town.
That's pretty much right.
Yeah, it's actually... So you know what I found out about this movie too? I thought when I first heard of the idea of this movie, I hadn't ever watched this. Definitely heard Footloose a lot when I was a kid because my dad was a huge fan of this song. And he used to play this on the records all the time. So there's probably home videos out there of me being like 3 or 4 years old playing my Fisher-Price guitar to Footloose.
I think everybody probably did, though.
Yeah, this was a jam, right?
I mean, how can you grow up and not have heard the song? Like, I can see a lot of people not seeing the movie, maybe, but I don't know how you could live on Earth and not be deaf and go through your life without hearing the song. It's everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's a big track for a lot of people.
And you're in for a treat too. If you haven't heard the song, you've never seen the movie, you get to hear the song about 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, that's that's true. It's like, I wonder, like, that. What came first? Do you think? Do you think the song came first, or do you think that the title Footloose came first? And they were like, "Dude, can you write a song called Footloose?"
Oh, the song definitely came first. They had the movie, and then Kenny Loggins was like, "I'll write a song for you." And they're like, "Oh, let's just call it Footloose."
Yeah. Okay, right on. So this actually brings me back to what I was gonna say. Was I had never seen this movie before this, and I had always heard about this plot of this movie where this town bans dancing, and I thought that was a stupid idea. Like, who would actually like this? This doesn't seem like this would be a real thing. But you know what? I found out this is a real thing.
It is a real thing. I looked it up as well.
Yes. Some town banned dancing.
Oh wait, okay. So this movie isn't based on an actual situation of a town that banned dancing in the United States. Sorry.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I think from what I remember, there was a law they had on the books from the 1800s or something, and they just discovered it. Some kids, I guess, they petitioned to have a school prom, and I guess there was a deadlock. There was a deadlock. It was like a 2-2 decision, and I think it was the guy who was the principal or he was the mayor of the town. He said, "Let them dance," and broke the tie. And so presumably Footloose played during that too, and they all started getting up and dancing.
Okay. Did you know that up until like I think it was in 2016. When Japan was sanctioned to host the 2020 Olympics, they decided that the population petitioned to abolish the no public dancing law that's been that's been a law for a long time. Yeah.
You couldn't dance in Japan?
Not in public.
Whoa, really?
Yeah. Or maybe if it was, it might have been, maybe you had, I think it was completely illegal. But it might have been, maybe there might have been, like, I know there's a couple places in the United States that it's illegal, but you can apply for, like, bars, the same way bars would apply for a liquor license. You apply for a
license.
Permit to host, a permit to host dancing.
This is like some weird world where it's like an alternate reality for You Got Served or something. It's like, in a world where dancing is illegal.
So, just to clarify, so this is your first time watching the movie?
This is, up until this point, I had never, ever seen this movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's both of our first time. I thought we both, okay, cool.
We popped our cherries together on this one, too.
Great. Yeah, I gotta tell you, I love this movie.
Oh, yeah?
This movie is ridiculous and awesome. I like this just as much as I enjoyed watching You Got Served.
Totally. So, but maybe we should start the movie and
Let's get into it. This movie is fun. I'm excited to talk about this. So naturally, we are going to start off the movie Footloose with the song Footloose playing. And it starts off with a close-up of a bunch of feet, basically doing different forms of like shuffle and dances to the song Footloose. And this goes on for
it's like
the whole length of the song. That kind of surprised me because I was like, as soon as it started, I was like, oh wow, they're going to play the whole song at the very beginning of the movie. I figured that that'd be something that the movie would end on, but no.
No. This is the first time they're gonna smash you in the face with a hammer of Footloose.
Yeah. I like all the different kinds of shoes and sneakers, like people's feet that we're seeing. Like we're obviously men and women, high heels. As for the men, the different types of shoes that we're seeing kind of remind me as if you were watching a performance of the Village People, but you just saw their feet. We get to see all the different kinds of cowboy boots, cops boots, army boots. And that's basically it. You like that?
Okay, I'm gonna try to. Okay, get it together here.
That's what it looks like, though. It looks like the Village People. If you just saw their feet, all the different kinds of cultures, and work in occupations of people dancing.
I was gonna say it's like sort of like Pee Wee Herman, his feet maybe dancing or something, but yeah, I kind of see what you're saying a little bit here. Yeah, okay. Totally. I will say I'm really impressed with the one lady in high heels. She's wearing like these probably 3-inch stilettos, and how she is not rolling her ankle is because she's getting really low.
The movement looks impossible to me. I'm surprised that people are actually hopping up and down on these really thin high heels.
And I don't want to spend too much time on this, but there's these kind of, I guess, almost what you're talking about with the Village People. It looks like olive sort of military pants with these like brown shoes. And the dance that is doing with the shoes, it's like the ankles are sort of folding and kind of just the heels are moving up and down. And to me, it honestly looked like a marionette. I thought they were fake feet.
I was thinking the same thing with the little...
Right? Okay, thank you. Because I'm going to play this for my wife because now I feel vindicated because I fought with her for about 3 minutes on this. I was like, they're fake feet. And she's like, why would they do that? I'm like, I don't know.
They look like they could easily be fake feet, yeah. Or if you picture two pairs of shoes glued to the floor, and the feet and the pants legs are taped to the shoes, and you were just like waving the pant legs around, but they were still stuck to the bottoms of the shoes. It looks like that. It looks like elastic legs connected to the feet.
That's an awesome visual. I love it. Yes, that's very accurate to what the hell is going on. But anyways, we open up and we are shown this town of Beaumont, Oklahoma, and there's pretty much nothing there. There's a couple of farm fields, cows, train tracks. There's really not much going on here. It's your typical small farm town, you could say.
We open up at the church. People are very, very into church here.
So to actually understand kind of what's going on here, this town is sort of a small theocracy going on here. So like it's a sort of a religious there's a religious rule on the town. It seems like the reverend of this church has a lot of influence on the town because there's a city council, which are all church members. There's a group of parents that get together that are sort of like the neighborhood watch, but they just ruin everyone's life and don't let them dance or listen to music. And they're all together, and it's like really harsh, over controlling church group.
Yeah. Well, John Lithgow is the reverend. He is one angry reverend at the very beginning of this. Like he's yelling at the congregation.
Yeah, it's definitely very fire and brimstone. Like that is kind of a style of preaching.
Yeah, but I mean, like it's fine. I mean, like I don't think you need to be like hitting things. Like you shouldn't be hitting the pulpit and yelling at the congregation. And then he ends after he's done slamming his fists on the pulpit. He goes, "Praise the Lord, let's sing."
And in the church here is Kevin Bacon, who plays this guy named Ren. And he's getting checked out by a girl in the pew.
That's Ariel. the minister's daughter.
That's right. We soon find out she is the minister's daughter. And it looks like she's not really paying attention either as John Lithgow's up there yelling at people.
Yeah, so they decide they leave. Ren kind of meets a few people, says hello to a couple different girls before outside of the church before they decide to, I guess, go along with their day. And Ariel and her 3 other girlfriends hop into a car and decide to go on a, I guess we're going to call this a joyride.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's about right. You know,
I think it's worth noting too. Did you notice that's Sarah Jessica Parker in the back seat? Well, before her, I've got to say her nose looks kind of different.
there's probably 3 nose jobs before. Allegedly, should say that too. Oh, we should note too before we leave the church entirely. They do mention that Ren plays football, and they want to have, and they basically invite him to try out and join the team, and that is sort of kind of an important point. At least it comes back later in the story. But you're right. So Ariel and Sarah Jessica Parker, with alleged pre-nose job, comes out with her friends, and I gotta say, Sarah Jessica Parker, her name in this movie, her character, her name is Rusty.
I know. I was like, Rusty. Isn't that kind of a guy's name?
Oh, yeah, and not even.
But I guess it is more. Rusty is like more of an adjective to describe a noun. So I guess it isn't really a gender-based adjective. I guess she can be Rusty.
It seems like her hair is kind of this like maybe brown copper color, so maybe that's why they call her Rusty. But I just like if naming a girl Rusty isn't really giving them the best foot forward in life, I think. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know. I would never want to think to call my daughter Rusty. I don't, if your name's Rusty out there, I apologize. Like, I don't think it's just the best name. It's just when you hear Rusty, you think of rust, And as they're driving down the road here, quickly, we noticed that a truck with antlers on the front of it.
Yeah, deer antlers.
Yeah, these deer antlers are on this truck, and the guy's barreling up behind her. And we find out that it is this guy, Chuck. And Chuck is dating Ariel. And he's sort of honking his horn behind the girls and coming up, and they're sort of playing it. I don't know. They're sort of driving very recklessly on the road now.
Well, they're driving parallel. Like, he's in the opposite lane, and they're in the right lane, and he's in the opposite lane. So they're driving parallel. And he's trying to get her to, like, come on, hop in the truck. And she's in the back seat of this car. Let's just say they're probably going, like, I don't know, 70 kilometers an hour, I would guess, on this back road. And then she proceeds to try to climb out of the back window and into this moving truck. This is so reckless. I was kind of surprised that they would even like try doing that. But it's like, okay, so she tries to climb in, and all of her friends in the car are being like, stop it. And I was thinking, okay, the driver of this car, why don't you just stop the car?
Well, I mean, the problem is if she stops the car, what's going to happen is she might fall out of the car because if she's hanging onto the truck, the momentum is going to pull her forward and out. She's dead, right?
Yeah, but I just mean slow down. I don't mean you have to just slam on the brakes.
I guess so. I know what you're saying. I would be kind of panicking a little bit too if I was driving the car and someone just tried to lean out of it. Like, what the hell is going on here?
As if it's not dangerous enough already. There is an 18-wheeler semi coming down the road in the opposite direction. We have these 2 vehicles driving parallel to each other. They're going to hit head on with this 18-wheeler. And she does, like, I guess this is before, Leonardo DiCaprio and Titanic doing I'm King of the World. But she basically does, like, a Van Damme splits with one foot on the truck, the window door of the truck, and the other foot, her right foot, on the window of the car. And she's standing up free-handed. Basically, I don't think she says I'm the king of the world, but she might as well.
That is exactly right. That is exactly what I was going to say. She does a Jean-Claude Van Damme going down the road as this Peterbilt is flying at her, and she's just hanging out the window here. Like, what the hell is going on here?
So this goes on for a while, like almost like 30 seconds to a minute, where she's like, they're in the car freaking out, like, you got to get out, you got to do something. We're going to hit this truck. And she eventually does, like, climb into the truck right before the semi comes, but the whole time I was thinking, why doesn't the semi stop?
Well, I mean, he would have to downshift in probably about, I don't even know how many gears you have to downshift there, like 9 gears or something. But it would take you a minute. I just want to highlight how reckless this girl's behavior is right now, because there's a lot of issues not issues I have with this movie, but there's a lot of things with this movie that's like, what the hell? And this is one of those moments where she's really reckless. And this girl is kind of suicidal, it seems like.
Yeah, yes.
A little bit, but she doesn't want to be. She's just naively suicidal. I think that's the only way I can explain it. She's an idiot.
Maybe she doesn't know. Maybe she doesn't know she's suicidal. We'll get back to it in a little bit.
She gets pulled into the truck just at the last second, thankfully, and both cars split off the road, and the truck keeps flying through, and everyone's safe. No problems.
The next scene starts at night with a whole bunch of teenagers gathered around this. I don't know. I guess you'd consider it like a diner kind of thing, or like a rec hall for youth.
You know, in like Happy Days, when they would go to Arnold's
yeah.
or whatever, that's kind of what that's literally what this looks like. It's just like a big sign with like lights that are just flashing all around in a big circle, and they're at this diner that looks like a wicked place to hang out. Honestly, I'd love to grab food here, but they're all there at this diner, and it just seems like, I don't know how many people are in this town, but it just seems almost like the entire teenage population of this town is hanging out at this diner here. And Ariel pulls out this. This is kind of funny because she pulls out this little tiny boom box and puts it down on the car and starts playing the music. And suddenly, everybody, everywhere, they can all hear this super clearly now.
Everybody indoors, everybody outside.
Yeah. But the cook, he's sitting there, he's spinning, and he's doing like he's flipping hamburgers, and he's dancing. He's like, oh yeah, get on it, yeah, you know. Some chick is like in on a phone booth. She's tapping her feet. There's people in a bathroom. There's 3 girls in a bathroom, way in the back. They're in a bathroom doing their makeup. They're dancing.
I gotta say too, a lot of these people. It's kind of funny that we talked about that they hired stunt doubles for the. To assist in the dancing. I don't think they hired very many because the majority of these teenagers aren't dancing very well. I guess, mind you, too, they're also kind of just like half dancing too. They're sort of like in mid conversation, just like kind of shaking their butt and sliding their feet from left to right and stuff like that. But none of them are really that good of dancers.
No, you know, I wrote down classic white people moves. That's really what these dance moves are.
You know, and considering this town, it's illegal to dance. As soon as a song plays, every single teen is like dancing immediately. Like there's not even any question about whether or not we should be doing this or the fact that it's illegal.
I feel like anytime they're ever going to listen to music and dance in this town, it should just be playing Judas Priest, Breaking the Law. Just, you can hit them on so many levels. Breaking the law. And they just all start. It's kind of danceable, but yeah, I don't know. Everyone in this town is really having a good time, and they can all hear on this little tiny boombox, even though this would never really happen, but you know, it's a movie and everyone's having a good time eating hot dogs and dancing on cars. And all of a sudden, you know, it's just like that, record stop. Who's there but the party pooper in chief himself, John, Don't Dance in My Town, Let's Go.
Now, if they wouldn't have had the music so damn loud, they probably could have heard John Lithgow pulling up in his car.
I guess so, but the 60 people out front dancing was kind of a dead giveaway still. Like, I think he'd be like, even if there wasn't any music, he'd be like, why the hell are you guys all dancing right now? Like, and so John Lithgow sort of gives her a look and says, hey, like, Mom thought you needed some money, and just kind of shoves $10 in her pocket and walks away, and party's been ruined.
Very disappointed.
He is very upset that she would listen to whatever the hell that song was. I don't even know what that was.
I don't think it's as much that she was listening to it as much as she was dancing to it that was really upsetting for him. And he also says several times in this movie that dancing confuses the mind and body and leads to sex and drugs.
So now we cut to the next day, and Ren is he's blasting his way into school. And he's got his hardcore, sweet, yellow Volkswagen Beetle. And he's playing Bang Your Head.
Yeah, Bang Your Head. I hate that song.
Really?
Oh, my gosh.
Quiet Riot? That song is so good, man.
That is one of the... to me, that is kind of one of the epitome of, like, just where rock went a little bit too glam in the 80s.
Oh, man, I think that riff is so good. Bow, 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 bow. That's like,
yeah, okay, don't get me wrong, the riff is awesome. That's Randy Rhoads, like that's great. But like,
yeah, you just want to you have fists going in your head, like yes.
That singer, I think I'm just not a big fan of the singer from Quiet Riot.
Yeah, for sure. No, he's got a kind of like screechy little bit of a voice, for sure. Yeah.
So he's attracting the attention of everybody by wearing his music. Also because he's got, like, I guess this was cool in the 80s when you just like wear a button shirt and you have a necktie that is basically half-assed done. Exactly what Avril Lavigne did way back when she came out with her video, whatever that was called, Complicated.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I think the mom says he looks like David Bowie, which I could kind of see too. It's this like flock of seagulls sort of thing where, yeah, just the collar is open, top button's not done up, the tie is very loose, and he's got a pleather jacket on. He runs into a gentleman with a plaid jacket and a giant cowboy hat, and I guess Kevin's gonna ask him something here, and yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a trade-off.
Oh, shit, mister, where are you going? Son of a bitch, you're supposed to look.
Sorry.
Hey, where'd you learn how to drive anyway? You're supposed to stay on the right side.
Hey, I like that hat, man. You sell men's clothes? Where you got that?
Oh, you got him, Kevin. Oh, sick burn.
And then they're like, let's be friends.
Yeah, basically he's like, I like you, man. What's your name?
So I want to point out that Kevin Bacon was walking to the right.
Yeah. So, okay, there you go. So that makes sense then, because I was like, because when he said that, I went back and I was like, what is he? Where did he drive? Where did he meet this guy? Where was he driving? So I'm just an idiot. That's what that was. I'm just an idiot. I completely miss.
Yeah, he was just like, stay in your lane and we won't bump each other in the hall.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right. And so these two, now all of a sudden, just because they had this exchange and sort of pissed on each other a little bit, they're going to be best friends now.
Yeah, and his name's Willard.
That's right. His name is Hewitt Willard. So let me ask you, Tim, do you know who Hewitt Willard is then?
I want to make a guess right now because I'm looking at his face, and what's his Reservoir Dogs? Is that nice guy Eddie?
You are correct, sir. That is Chris. That's Chris Penn. He's like a 20-year-old Chris Penn there, just brand new. And I don't really want to say anything rude about Chris Penn, but the difference between Footloose and say even Corky Romano, it's like,
oh my gosh, I forgot that he was in Corky Romano.
Right,
yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yes, it's like, well, we'll just leave it there. I'll just leave it there because I don't want to be rude to people. So
yeah, no, it's fine.
But yeah, so
he looks good. He looks good here.
That's right. That's a very nice way to put that, Tim.
Yeah.
Chris Penn looks fantastic in here. That's right. So now Kevin is gonna run into Ariel for a second. Well, kind of. He walks past her. They look at each other.
He just says her name.
Yeah. Just Ariel.
Ariel? And she goes, yeah. And then he keeps on walking. I'm like, cool. Just made one more friend. Kevin Bacon he just looks at people, says one word, bumps into people. He's just making friends left and right.
It was almost like a McLovin moment where all he needed to do was tell her that it's 8:13 or whatever, and like he just stares at her with like these really intense Steve Buscemi kind of eyes. Are just like they go really big for a second. He's like, oh, and it's like I guess he's supposed to be in love. I don't know.
Yeah.
But so now we fast forward. Now we're in the cafeteria, and Kevin Bacon and Hewitt are now getting lunch, and they're just talking. Kevin Bacon is kind of telling about what it was like in Chicago. And, he was at clubs and he would get fake IDs and he would go and he danced with this girl. Kevin tells a story and he makes it sound like he almost got laid and then at the last second didn't. So, but you know what? He said, we danced. We danced, man.
Kevin Bacon here is telling Willard this story about this girl that he almost had sex with in the backseat of his car. I find it like... We've seen this in other movies that we watched where Willard, while he's listening intently, he looks a little bit like he's enjoying this story too much to me. Like as he's telling this story to his guy, this guy that he just met about how he almost had sex with some girl. Like he looks like he is vicariously enjoying it just as much as Kevin Bacon did when he was actually doing it.
You're right. He's got a big goofy grin on his face, and he's eating ice cubes out of this like Coke cup, and he kind of has a Keanu Reeves things going on.
And I would say when he revealed the joke that he didn't sleep with her and they just danced, Willard looked like he just got blue balled.
Don't stop, make ginger pop.
Don't stop.
Okay. Stop. Yeah, that's a great line. So, Ariel and Rusty, Sarah Jessica Parker, his name is Rusty. I can't get over that. Rusty, they come up and they take the lunches from Chris Penn and Kevin Bacon, and they sit down at their table now, and everyone's sitting around talking, and Chris Penn sort of mentions that dancing is illegal in this town, and he explains to him that basically there was a car accident the year before, and some kids were drinking and driving, and they got into a car accident, and the town blamed dancing and liquor, which kind of sounds like a Trailer Park Boys line, but blame the liquor. So the whole town blamed the dancing and the liquor, and now they find out that dancing is outlawed.
Okay. What do you think that they think came first? Do you think that they were dancing when the parents got together? Like, well, they must have been dancing. And that's why they went out and bought all that booze and then went driving. Or do they think that maybe they started off drinking and then that led to the dancing, which then led to the car accident?
I mean, honestly, I think as a armchair quarterback on this one, I think you could just probably cut dancing right out of the equation as to what killed them, unless they were actually dancing while they were driving. Sort of like in I Know What You Did Last Summer when he's hanging out the car window. I don't see why dancing would be a problem for them right now. It just sounds like there was some sort of ulterior motive. They just were like, you know what? He died. I just hated dancing.
I could see it like, when they did this remake, they should have put in people ghosting. Like, when they get out of the
ghost riding the whips down the country road.
Yeah, getting out of the moving vehicle and dancing alongside the car, and that's how the car accident happened. And that's why they banned dancing. That would make sense in like a little bit more modern times, right?
Yeah, they could have played Ghost Ride the Whip.
Yeah.
And they're just like going down the road like, yeah. And all of a sudden this like, again, another Peterbilt just comes over the top. No, Joey. Bang. And then just like, that's it.
Yeah.
And they're like, no one's ghost riding their cars. There's no more dancing. But okay, it's like, why didn't they just leave with the alcohol? Or why don't you guys just watch your kids a little bit better, Like, why if your kids are out, you can't watch your kids all the time, but I don't know. You can't police your kids all the time either. So like, it seems a little harsh. They're gonna ban dancing and alcohol. And then like, what about all the adults that were just like, they like to have beer and they're like, son of a bitch,
ruined it for everybody.
Yeah, and then maybe I gotta stop because there's so much more we could explore with that. But
so school is over and Kevin Bacon offers Willard to drive home. So they drive home, and as they're driving home, a cop car pulls them over. This officer walks up to Kevin Bacon, asks him to step out of the vehicle, and he complains to him that he was playing the music too loud in his car. And his accompanying officer takes the tape deck. We're still listening to cassette tapes here in 1984, and takes that out of the car and throws it to the cop, and he puts it in his pocket. He's like, "What? You're gonna steal my music? Like, it's just music." And he is like, "Watch your tone with me, son," and writes him a ticket for $25. What did he write him a ticket for?
For loud music, I think. Maybe they have some sort of trumped up charge they could make, disturbing the peace, noises, whatever. Maybe they have some sort of noise ordinance. But anyways, Ren goes back home and his uncle is kind of grilling him about getting this ticket now, just saying like, "Hey man, like what the heck? You can't be mouthing off to the cops. This ain't some big city like it was before, right?"
Yeah, and he's right. Have we also mentioned that? Because I didn't realize this until like this point, or like halfway through the movie, that Kevin Bacon is living with his aunt and uncle.
Yes. Oh, so yeah, like that's maybe. I'd like to talk about it. I don't want to get too far in this, but it's really weird because at the start of the movie, they're just in church. And you're supposed to just know, it seems like.
Yeah, you would have assumed that those are his parents that he's living with, that they just moved there together. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So from what I gathered, I had to like look this up, and what I just had to like sit, because there's little lines here and there that explain some of this stuff. It seems like, and from what I've gathered, it sounds like Kevin Bacon and his mom moved from Chicago to Oklahoma, and I think that this is how they're related, the aunt and uncle are related to him. I think it's his mom's sister. That's what I'm gathered from it.
Yeah.
So, and I think that his dad, spoiler alert, we'll get to it in a little bit later, but I think his dad left, and I think that's why they're here. So something that's they don't really go in too far into depth with that, which is really weird. But it's an hour and 40 minutes. There's like 7 musical montages. I mean, maybe they could have explained that a little better. I don't, but we got to dance. That's what Footloose is.
After that, we got a quick scene at the house, at Ariel's house with John Lithgow, and he's listening to classical music because that's the only music that doesn't confuse the body, according to him. So he's having kind of a heart-to-heart moment with her, saying, honey, I'm not always going to be able to be there for you. You need to start being responsible. And when I was watching this, I was genuinely confused. I was like, did I just miss something? Like, what happened? And then I remembered, it's because he caught her dancing like 10 minutes earlier. That's what he's talking about. So yeah, anyways, you have to keep on reminding yourself in this movie. Well, I mean, they do remind you, but for the first little bit, you kind of have to keep yourself in check to remember how important it is to not dance and how much it means to John Lithgow.
And it's only been like 3 days. Not even. It's probably been like 2 days. We're almost half an hour in this movie, and it's only been 2 days. It seems like there's quite a bit.
Yeah. So then after that, we're at another day of school where school ends again.
Yeah, we just roll up on it. It's the end of the day.
Yeah, it's just the end of the day of school. And as Chuck and Ariel are driving through the parking lot to exit, they almost bump into Kevin Bacon backing out of his parking spot.
Yeah, and they're gonna have a bit of they're gonna exchange some words here.
Hey, you the new kid? I'm talking to you. Where'd your tie go? I thought only pansies wore neckties.
Oh, yeah? See that? I thought only assholes use the word pansy.
Ooh, you got you on that one, Chad.
Shut up!
Shut up, Ariel.
Shut up! I love that. Shut up! He just quickly snaps at her. Like, I mean, no one burned anybody there. That entire.
No, these are very weak insults.
That entire exchange was weak. You guys, like, shit's weak, boys. This sucked.
And honestly, I think that at least I gotta say that both of these two are assholes. Like, one person, Kevin Bacon, was backing out of a spot and wasn't looking. I would just look out the window and be like, sorry about that. They didn't slam into each other. It wasn't an accident. Like, calm down.
Chuck is just whipping through this parking lot here, and
Teenagers in high school getting road rage in the parking lot.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Bacon is kind of a dick in this movie. He's a little bit of a dick, and Chuck is a complete prick in this movie too. But it doesn't. I mean, it was a pretty weak exchange from both of them, but it's also kind of funny. But Willard does inform him that the guy whom he just insulted was Chuck, and he's apparently an important person in this town. His name's Chuck Cranston. I think his dad is on one of the councils for the town as far as what gets approved in the town legally, and he's also dating Ariel. And apparently, if this guy, apparently they kind of if this guy has a bit of an axe to grind with you, then it's gonna make your life hard living in the town. So now Kevin Bacon is gonna go and he's gonna apply for a job at this. I don't know. Is this?
I just call it a flour mill.
I think it's a grain mill or something. I think in real life it's actually a steel mill. I could be wrong, or maybe that's where he goes later. But this is like this grain mill.
Okay, so this is what that makes sense because honestly, like at some points, like when you kind of just see where Kevin Bacon is walking around, this does not look like something. It looks like a steel mill, very much like there's giant machinery that you would not expect to use if you were processing flour in grains.
Yeah, I can see like conveyor belts and stuff. Yeah, but there's
cranes and like heavy tons of metal. And machines to lift and transport these tons of metal and train tracks and like all these different kinds of things.
You're right. I've never worked at a steel mill or anything like that, but or a grain factory. But
I've never worked at a flour mill either. So
yeah, exactly. So we could totally be off here, but you know what? I think you're right. They're just kind of relying that you don't look too far into it.
So he gets the job, and out of nowhere, he's approached by Ariel.
The whole point of this, I guess, is that Ariel's come here on behalf of Chuck to issue a bit of a challenge.
Oh, hi, Ariel.
Chuck Cranston wants to see you. Meet him over at the back of his daddy's field tomorrow, 5:30.
So what happens tomorrow at 5:30?
You're gonna have to show up to find out.
And if I don't?
People will know you're scared.
People will know you're scared. And these people are so hardcore and tough.
well, look. I mean, no one dances in this town, so
I'll tell you that threat would send chills down my spine. Meet in his daddy's backyard, 5:30.
if you don't, you're scared.
So the next scene, we are. I guess it's 5:30 the next day, and we are in the backyard farm of Chuck's father. Paul, when Kevin Bacon received the challenge to go meet Chuck at 5:30, what did you think was going to happen? Like, what do you think the challenge was going to be?
I originally thought, maybe a fist fight or maybe a drag race or something like that. But
I kind of thought, I thought it would be a fist fight or maybe even like some kind of a big setup prank to make him look stupid or something.
yes, yeah, exactly. Sort of like in Happy Gilmore when they tell him, "Hey, go on the 10th green at 9 o'clock," right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the sprinklers come on.
Yeah. What we have here is a tractor duel.
Yeah, it's a tractor joust.
Yes, this is yes, it's a tractor joust. No kidding. That's exactly what this actually is. So there are two tractors, approximately, I'm just gonna say, a quarter of a mile apart.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, they're a couple 100 feet in between each other, looks like.
Yeah, and they're gonna play chicken. Now, for people who don't know what playing chicken is, it's when two objects are coming down the same lane that are on a course to crash into the other one. The person who gets afraid and turns off the course is chicken and declared the loser. That's what they're doing with these tractors. Now, usually when you do it with a vehicle like a car or something, it's pretty high stakes because, cars go pretty fast.
Wait. Let me ask you. Wait. So you're telling me that farm equipment doesn't move fast?
Oh, it does. I know it does. I'm just saying it doesn't move as fast as.
No, it does. Let me just say this. Maybe tractors and maybe they move fast, but I can just say, as a guy who's driven down a lot of rural roads and has been stuck behind a lot of farm equipment, most of these things don't go fast. Okay, especially down a two-way road with barely anywhere to go and cars whipping past you the other way. You get stuck behind a combine harvester or a tractor, it is a long way down the road. It takes a long time. So
yeah. So basically they gear up for a duel, and Kevin Bacon has never driven a tractor before, but they assure him it's just like driving a sports car. So he hops on the tractor, and these two are on a direct course. Paul, this chicken fight here lasts almost a minute and a half.
Yeah. In Deadpool when he runs over the guy with his Zamboni, and it's just a shot. It's like 15 seconds where this guy's like slowly trying to get away, and he's like, "I'm gonna get you when I come up to you. You're dead." It's like that's what this was watching. I was watching the Zamboni scene. It was just these two slow moving vehicles, or like in Austin Powers when the guy gets.
That's what I was thinking of Austin Powers.
Yes, yeah, and it's like no, and it's this like it's that song. I Need a Hero or whatever it is. This song plays.
Oh my gosh, this is the song that plays. I Need a Hero. This is like such a ridiculous song for a tractor duel.
I need a strong farmer.
Yeah.
And they just like they're going at each other. But I was gonna say, it's weird that this guy is gonna wreck his father's two tractors to prove a point. Like farm equipment is not cheap.
Oh, I assume that Willard brought his own tractor. I figured that's that you have to bring your own tractor.
BYOT? No.
Okay, so we'll just jump ahead and say that, let you know that Kevin Bacon wins because he's awesome, and he actually what happened is that his foot got caught on something on the his shoelace got caught on some kind of lever on the tractor, which prevented him from being able to actually be the chicken and turn off course, and the other guy turned off before him, so he won.
This is what I mean. They've already had an accident in this town where there was drinking and driving, and they banned dancing. They're gonna get a farming band here in a second too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like,
won't be anything.
Yeah, these
no
kids
more flour mill.
The girls going JVD down the road. Now they're dueling tractors with each other, and we're gonna see some more stuff later too. Like these kids are super reckless.
It's no wonder they banned everything.
I just think at this point you've hit the no return spot where it's like I don't think there's not enough stuff you can ban that's gonna keep these kids away from hurting themselves. They're idiots. Put helmets on them. Maybe that's all you can do. Everyone has to wear a helmet in this town. Like maybe I think that's a better solution than just saying you can't dance and you can't drink.
So now we're gonna go to school
For a town where it's you shouldn't be allowed to you shouldn't be able to get weed, or it should be hard to get weed. This guy offers Kevin Bacon a joint, and
wide open in the classroom at that too.
Yeah, okay. So maybe you can explain this. Is this guy that comes in here, this greasy looking dude, is he one of Chuck's boys? Is that what we're supposed to believe? Because at first I thought he was a teacher. I thought he was like a substitute teacher who was a bit of a prick.
Oh, because he looks so old.
Yes, this guy.
Like everybody in this movie does not look like they're young enough to be in high school. How old was Kevin Bacon when this movie was made?
I'm gonna guess he's 26. That's my guess.
I just want to look this up right quick and I think that's a good guess. I think that he's probably pretty close to 30 years old. He was born in 1958, so 26.
Wow. Well, there you go.
But no, I don't think this guy is supposed to be one of Chuck's friends. I think that he's just, because this is just supposed to be a coincidence, another bad luck happening in his life.
I think this guy shows up later on in the movie with Chuck and the gang. I could be wrong. So
he might.
I don't know. But so this guy comes in and he offers Kevin Bacon a joint. And Kevin says, "Hey, no, man, I'm good." But he there's this line that he says, I think he's supposed to be joking. He says, "I'm really into cat tranquilizers." Was that supposed to be like facetious, or was he actually being serious? Like, was that?
He's being facetious.
Okay, maybe that was the big thing in the '80s. Everyone was just doing like ketamine in Chicago. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, that was a thing. I mean, ketamine is definitely.
Ketamine's still a thing, but yeah, I don't know. A thing. I don't know if people are doing. Maybe people were doing that in the '80s. Who knows? But this teacher with a very '80s mustache comes in, and he goes, "What are you guys doing?" He goes to try to grab the joint off Kevin Bacon, and Kevin Bacon runs to the bathroom and goes, "No, it's just tea leaves, man. If it wasn't, would I do this?" And it's actually a smart idea. He throws it in the toilet and flushes it really quick, so the guy can't pull it out. And so the guy gives him this look. And Kevin, sort of sit there and sighs because he knows what's going to happen next. Because he goes home now, and the uncle is just giving him an ear beating.
You tore up those fields with that tractor.
Well, he said that there was some kids that got the tractors loose, and they tore them up and destroyed them.
Would you know anything about that?
Well, he said that there was drugs at the school too, and it's like, first of all, the fields never got torn up.
No, they were on a road.
Yeah, they were on a road the entire time. And I think only one tractor got destroyed. And that's because the other guy drove it off into the ditch like an idiot. And it's just weird because Kevin Bacon doesn't really defend himself at all in this. He doesn't explain anything. He just sits there.
No, he could just say, "Hey, this bully forced me to play chicken with him with these tractors. And then this other guy tried to sell me drugs."
Yeah, well, he gave me a joint. I threw it in the toilet and said, "No thanks, I'm good." Dare to be drug free. After Kevin, gets grilled by his uncle and just stands there and takes it, he leaves the house angrily in his car. And the next scene that we get treated to here is probably this is absolutely the reason why I wanted to pick this movie and watch this in the first place, was because I saw this on TV and this scene was on and I was like, oh my God. I thought this was just a Hot Rod thing. Like, I knew that Hot Rod was spoofing something, but I didn't know what they were spoofing. And then when I saw this scene, I was like, mind blown. So, Tim, if you would like to describe what happens here as Kevin Bacon is going to hop into his Volkswagen and run over to this alleged steel mill / maybe it's a grain factory. All right, hit it, Tim.
Okay, so Kevin Bacon is pulling up into the flour warehouse, which I cannot stress enough, looks like a steel mill. At this point, nobody is in there working. He's going to pull out a tape.
And he's got a cigarette going here too, which is hilarious.
He's halfway through a cigarette. He jams in this awesome banging like synth 80s rock song. And he's immediately starting to let his relieve his energy by getting into the car, and he starts kind of just like as if he's walking down a runway, like a catwalk, and just strutting his stuff to the left and the right. And he, out of nowhere, has a half full bottle of beer that he starts drinking. So he's going to start kind of twirling around his car a little bit. And we get a montage. During this whole scene here, we have a montage of previous parts of the movie. I want to remind you, we're only 30 minutes into this movie at this point, and we are getting a montage of replay of every single scene. And every single one, every time we get finished one, he is frustrated and kind of makes a jerking motion with his body until he's kind of full on dancing. He throws the bottle of beer and smashes it against the wall and proceeds to start kind of just, I'm going to call it rage dancing.
Yeah, and he was smoking a second ago with that. Well, he was dancing and smoking. It was amazing.
Yeah. I'm going to say that he's fight dancing or rage dancing. I like to describe what he's doing as, have you ever seen Jackie Chan just run through a group of people while he's running away from people? And he's just like kind of flailing his arms around?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that. It's like a manic runaway chase. But then it's also like a mix of ballet. Like he's running down the walls, grabbing on things and just yanking on levers and yanking on pieces of the wall for, I don't know, no reason. And then he kind of mixes in a few ninja kicks, a few roundhouses, and then he proceeds to grab a chain and basically do a Tarzan swing around the this empty facility. We're gonna get. Yeah, and then we're going to get a little bit of bright lights, so we get some awesome silhouette ballet dancing.
It's like in in the Breakfast Club when Emilio Estevez is smoking that joint up on the top level and dancing.
Yeah, and then suddenly this place is pretty much set up to be a gymnastics thing. Like, so he's got a bar and he's going to start swinging now. He's going to do like 5 360s over and over and over, which to me seems very dangerous in this steel mill facility.
You get
He's
him,
going to
Kevin.
jump off not once, twice. 1,
3
2,
times.
3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 times.
I think it's just a cut just to show you that. But yeah, you go, Kevin. You show that down.
Yeah, I never even thought that was that's a cut. I thought we were seeing him do the same thing over, or being something different several times. Yeah, and he's about to finish up, and as soon as he's kind of done out of nowhere, well, he's not really done. He gets startled by Ariel. She's there being like, whoa, what are you doing? He's like, hey, I thought I was alone, because he only does that stuff alone, I guess. And there's something interesting that happens in this scene right away that like I have to assume is a mistake. Like this movie, as far as the time, is all over the place, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What time is it now? Clearly right now it is daytime. No question. Okay? Within 2 minutes, it is going to be nighttime.
yeah, you're totally right. That's totally fair. In this movie, time happens almost non-linear, It just, things happen. Before we leave this alleged flour wheat mill / maybe steel mill, when Ariel shows up, she gets in the car with Kevin Bacon for a minute, and they have this moment where they start talking. And she says, she asks him to kiss him. And there's just a weird exchange here that I kind of like to go over.
Do you want to kiss me?
Someday.
Hey, what is this someday shit?
Well, I get the feeling you've been kissed a lot. I'm afraid I'd suffer by comparison.
So, okay. So wait a second. He said, I feel like you've been kissed a lot. I might suffer by comparison. So there's I had a couple thoughts here. Like, is he A, calling her a bit of a skank, or B, it's like a nervous moment for Kevin Bacon and he's afraid that if he kisses her, it might not be a good kiss? Like, what was that?
If he is afraid, that was a very rude way of expressing it.
Right? Yeah.
If I was the other person, I would say, yes, I think you're calling me a floozy.
Yeah, I'd be like, all right, did you just really call me a skank, bro? Like, what just happened here? Why would you say that?
Yeah.
I get the feeling you've been kissed a lot. That's not a nice thing to say to somebody, Like even how you said it, it's like kissed a lot, that's a little bit better than, I think you're kind of the town bike. But is Kevin supposed to be this cool, suave guy who always has this witty comeback to people, or is he this nervous guy in front of this girl? Maybe he's a little bit of both.
No, he's supposed to be the cool, suave guy.
He had this moment where he kind of crapped his pants a bit. So now we're gonna jump into nighttime. So it was daytime 3 minutes ago. Now it's nighttime. It's the dead of night, and Ariel takes Kevin Bacon to it's like a junkyard. I don't really know what this place is. It's just a place where there's a bunch of crap around, and it's just a train
This
yard.
is still the flour. This is the flour mill.
Is this still the same place?
Yes, this is still the same place.
Really? I thought they
Yeah.
drove somewhere. Holy cow.
No, no, no. They're still in the same
Huh.
place
Okay.
because he parked his car along the train tracks.
Oh, okay. So, wow. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. So this flour mill thing apparently has trains show up in it. Okay. Fair enough. So Ariel takes her to the secret train car, right? And there's it looks like graffiti, but when you get inside, she explains that all this stuff that's written in there, it's little lines from magazines, poetry, music, stuff they weren't supposed to listen to or know about, I guess. And they said they call it a yearbook or something like that, I think. And then they said it started about 4 or 5 years before that. So they're probably 13, 14 when they started writing all of this stuff on the train. So now this train is showing up, and it's coming down the tracks. And the guy is the conductor is honking the horn, and Ariel just decides to once again go completely rogue and suicidal, and now stand on the tracks as this bloody train comes honking at her, like barreling down. I say it's not barreling, but it's like it's going at a decent clip through this little building here, and she's just standing there, and this thing's honking.
She says when she was younger, they used to go out and stand in front of the train and scream at it.
What is wrong with these kids? So this is what I mean again. Why?
This is why they have these rules in this town.
They don't need these rules. Like the parents need to be on top of their kids if they're throwing themselves in front of trains and hanging out of cars and whatever the hell else they're doing, jousting each other with farm equipment. What the hell is going on in this town? What is going on here?
So Kevin Bacon saves her at the last minute because he's like, "What the hell are you doing?" and grabs her right before the train hits her. And then they have a nice romantic moment on the ground.
Well, think about this. If he didn't save her, it looked like she wasn't going to move. She was about to get mowed down by a train. That is what, at least from what I can see in this movie, this train is going to mow her down. And she just stands there with her hand out like, "Stop, don't go, train." And the train's like, "What are you doing?" So she's crazy. She's a crazy person. She was going to just like get herself killed. Why would you do that? There's so many things that are questionable and wrong with this. And like, again, like, why is the town banning dancing? They should just like put helmets on these people.
Yeah. So, anyways, he drives her home, and when she gets dropped off at the house, John Lithgow is waiting up for her, and is once again kind of saying how sad he is that she's not following the rules in the town. And he's like, how can I expect the rest of this town to follow my guidance if my own daughter won't even listen? And you know what? He's right. I do kind of feel bad for him a little bit because she's torturing him. Well, actually, we'll get back to that in a little bit. There's more about this that we're going to find out. We'll understand why John Lithgow is so on top of this stuff and moved by having all these rules in place. So we're at the next day, and Kevin Bacon is at a car wash washing his Volkswagen with Willard.
Willard tells Kevin that the whole town knows that he showed up late with Ariel last night, and her dad is very upset. So what has happened now is that they've actually sort of unofficially kicked him off the football team. When I mentioned way before the start of the movie that they want him to try out for the football team, he got on the football team. They let him go because they said they didn't have enough money for his equipment or something like that.
Right.
They sort of like, again, they make up some trumped up charge, and they just kick him off the football team. So then Kevin Bacon starts remarking that basically nothing happens in this town, and Willard kind of teases him a bit, and Kevin says that he'd like to put Playboy centerfolds in all of the little hymnals in the Reverend's books, and
that's a good idea. That'll get everybody on your side.
Yeah, and so Hewitt says, like, it'd be funny if we open up a nightclub in there, and that's when this bolt of lightning hits Kevin, and he goes, "That's it. We're gonna have a dance. We're gonna do a dance. We're gonna set up a dance. That is my purpose in this town right now. We are now going to try to get people to agree to let us dance." And that's the whole purpose of this movie now, is the kids want to dance.
Yeah, I want to do the one thing that nobody in this town wants me to do, and I don't understand why everybody's giving me such a hard time.
Let the foot loose.
Let the foot loose.
Maybe that's why it's called it, That would have been my slogan. Because they play that song so much in this. I would have been like chanting that. Foot loose. Foot loose. So that evening, the whole town council meets. And they are talking about the fact that they know Kevin Bacon wants to put on a dance. And at this moment, Ariel sort of slips out of the house, and her and Kevin Bacon and Willard and Rusty all meet up, and they jump in the car, and Kevin Bacon is going to take them out of town, and he's going to show them what they've been missing. And so they're going out of state here. This is almost like, the way this seems, it almost seems like they're escaping North Korea, and they're going somewhere. They're like, we're going somewhere where there's lots of fun. Don't tell anyone. Because they do mention that someone went to another town before that to go see it was like a rock concert or something, and they got in trouble, and they were on probation with the school and the church. And it's like, man, like how much, I don't know how much rule they have over them, but that just, again, seems like a bit of a trumped up charge because you went to a concert somewhere. What if it wasn't even a bad concert? What if you went, and you saw like Air Supply or something, because it's the 80s. What if you saw Air Supply? That's not like a crazy concert. You're not going to see Kiss.
So can we talk? I have a question, kind of similar to like the earlier when he was challenged to the duel. I asked you, what do you think that they were going to end up doing? So anyways, when we found out that they were going to go to a nightclub, what kind of nightclub did you have in mind that they were going to be going to?
Yeah, I guess, you would think maybe they're taking them to the big city somewhere, and it's like some sort of hip urban nightclub where there's like, people playing techno or dance, I guess 80s dance music, Oingo Boingo or Duran Duran or something like that. And, people wearing the suits with the pop collars dancing.
Or I expected like a lot of disco or something, a lot of that 80s music like Madonna and stuff like that, and people dancing. I did not expect to see something out of the Achy Breaky Heart video.
Well, to be fair, this is they're walking to this bar and they're playing John Cougar Mellencamp, "Hurt So Good," it's not a bad song. It's okay.
No, that's okay.
It's so good. Yeah, and
it's a good line dancing song, I guess, if that's what you're into.
I don't know about line dancing, but you walk into a bar and you hear "Hurt So Good," it's it's setting you up for a fun night. I think, and I really love this whole bar scene here. There's some funny stuff that happens here.
So in this bar, this is very much like your outback country bar, cowboy hats, all the sort, cowboy boots.
It's a very rural setting for this bar. It definitely looks like there should be a mechanical bull in there somewhere. I think, and a lot of plaid going on, a lot of cowboy hats, which it's a great look. It's awesome.
So I have a question. So they're all in the bar here and they're drinking. We find out that Willard doesn't know how to dance, so he's just gonna sit down and drink the beer. Now, were the drinking regulations different in 1984 as far as when you were allowed to go to a bar and drink? Because I'm pretty sure it's been 21 years old for a pretty long time.
Yeah. I think you're totally right. And what I thought about this too, and the only thing I can think of was I remember that when Willard and Kevin Bacon are talking in the when they're talking in the cafeteria at the start of the movie, Kevin Bacon mentions that he used to go to nightclubs too, and he would get fake IDs. So maybe he didn't get them fake IDs. Maybe he's got one or something. He just flashed at the guy and did some sort of move. Because like I've done that with some friends before too, where people do a couple of shuffle moves and people kind of sneak in places they're not supposed to be real quick, and you flash an ID that kind of looks like somebody that's not. I also knew a friend, someone that was played in my band once upon a time. He was dating someone who had a fake ID that looked nothing like them and would just get into the bar all the time. So, I guess, so maybe sometimes people don't even look. You just show them a piece of a card and they're like, yeah, it's good. Thanks, man. You're good. Or maybe they gave him $10. But yeah, so I'm guessing somehow he got fake IDs for everyone, or maybe just for himself.
So they decide that they're all going to start dancing except for Willard. Now, we get to hear Footloose for the second time in this movie. And they're going to dance to it. The weird thing, they're going to dance to this entire song.
Yeah, in a country bar, too. Why are they playing Footloose in a country bar?
Well, I think Footloose is kind of one of these, like...
Yeah, but Kenny Loggins isn't like...
Like, I saw a song that is relatively country. Like, when the new movie came out, Blake Shelton did the cover of Footloose.
Okay, well, maybe he did it exactly like I imagine that a country cover of the song would go, Footloose, Footloose. Something like that. Footloose.
Not quite like that. I gotta cut loose. Footloose.
Okay. That. I gotta cut loose. And then it's like a fiddle going on. Footloose.
Yeah. He actually, like, in all fairness, he actually doesn't like. I won't. I'm not gonna crap on his cover.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I know. It's easy to rip on country accents and stuff.
Yeah, I prefer this one that's less country myself. However, it is still good enough for a country bar.
Yeah, there's certain country singers, and I'm like, damn, that guy's got a good voice. So, definitely won't say no to every country singer. While they're dancing here, there's a point when Rusty is just having a good time. Footloose is so contagious that she can't stop. She's got to cut Footloose now. So she goes out on the dance floor. And this other rhinestone cowboy comes out, and he starts dancing with her. And it's at this point that Willard notices this, and he gets really upset. And he storms out on the dance floor. And, there's an exchange with this guy. He says, "Buzz off, bud. She came here with me." And this guy says, "Well, she's going home with me." And then it's funny because the guy tells Willard to flick off. He says, "Flick off," which I thought was really funny. But then Willard hits him back with this line.
When's the last time you seen your dick, brother?
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
When's the last time you saw your dick? What does that even mean? I've heard that. I think I've heard that before. And like this isn't something I condone at all. But I've heard that before used on someone like an overweight male as an insult. However, this person, and not that I condone the use of it then in any kind of way. However, even right now, it makes no sense. This guy is not an overweight person. So I did this. I have no idea what that means.
What is that? Was that a threat, or was that like you coming on to him? I don't understand this.
That was enough to get him so enraged that he nails Willard in the face. Punches, knocks him out, and gives him a bloody nose.
I can't believe someone... It's just like, who wrote that line? And when like got done, I was sitting there at the end of the tight rail, like, to see your dick. And then just sat back and was like, yeah. In what world did you think that was a good comeback? Did anybody think that would be a good comeback? Like, I couldn't believe it.
And, I also ask you, like, too, did you detect any form of chemistry between Willard and this girl prior to this? Like, I didn't know. I was under no impression that they were together at all.
Yeah, I did not understand this because I didn't think they were together. They sat and had like chicken had lunch that one time, and they were kind of friendly to each other. But yeah, and so they decide, okay, that's a wrap on the night. We're gonna go home.
Yeah, these guys are getting rebellious and out of hand. It's time to move on with this scene and go home. So on the way home, they're in the car, and as they're going across the bridge, they're going across a bridge at night. And Willard says that he hates going over this bridge because it gives him the creeps. Kevin Bacon asks why. So we find out that this is actually the bridge where the car accident occurred earlier with the teens. Or sorry, the accident that we were told about earlier occurred. And it was actually 6 years prior to this. And it was two teens playing chicken on the bridge. This town can't get enough of chicken. Anyways, they played chicken, and they both ended up going off of the bridge. And Ariel's brother died. Her younger brother died. This was just 6 years ago. When she's telling the story, by the way, she hardly seems bothered. Like, she seems like the most unempathetic person. And I gotta say, when this part of the story was revealed, I was immediately like, it really painted a really poor picture for Ariel for me, because I was like, okay, so that's why John Lithgow is as upset as he is trying to keep tabs on his kids and guide this town to not play chicken in the road and do all these ridiculous things, because his son just died like 5 or 6 years ago. And now he's got Ariel. Ariel is torturing her father. She's jumping in front of trains, playing splits in cars, playing chicken with semi-trucks. Like, what is she doing to this poor man?
I don't know. And you're right. She doesn't seem very affected emotionally by the story. She's like, you should have seen it. Like, that's how she delivers it. Like, you should have seen this thing. Like, it was like it was, someone spilt a bunch of milk at the grocery store. Like, they tipped over this whole display. You should have seen it.
Oh, and I should make a correction. It was her older brother, not her younger brother. Yeah. So now we're gonna go to the shower in high school. Where I guess this is where I don't know. I don't remember stuff like this happening in my high school.
Yeah, people walking around bare-assed.
But all these quote unquote teenagers are in here showering naked, and they're talking about how Kevin Bacon is going to fight City Hall to get this dance approved.
So they tell Kevin Bacon basically if he wants to get the dance done that he sort of has to go through the town council, and one of those people on the town council, like we said earlier, was Chuck's dad. So the guy that he's the bully Chuck's dad. And so one of the things that happens here is they kind of start ripping on Willard a bit because it's come to light now that he doesn't know how to dance. And so Kevin Bacon says to him, if I got to fight City Hall, you got to learn how to dance. And for like the third or fourth time now in this movie, we're going to get
another montage.
Yeah, we're going to get another montage of them just Let's Hear It for the Boys comes on, and they're sitting in the Volkswagen Beetle snapping their fingers away, and Kevin Bacon is teaching Chris Penn rhythm basically.
There was one thing I realized in this. Have you ever seen the movie with Steve Martin, The Jerk?
Yes, Navin Johnson.
They were making fun of this scene, right? At the very beginning of The Jerk.
Oh, when he can't snap?
When he just learns, he finds his rhythm, and he's snapping his fingers, and he's like learning that he's got rhythm, and that's basically what these two are doing. They start off the whole training of the dance lessons started off with snapping your finger to a beat, and then slowly the other limbs of his body start moving along with the rhythm.
Well, I see where you're coming from, but I will say, why I think this could be a little off is because so I watch this on Amazon Prime. One of the things on there, if you click on it, if you pause the movie, one of the things that shows up, it says trivia. So if you click on it, there's all these little things. And one of the things that was on there that they mentioned was Chris Penn didn't know how to dance. So they actually wrote this scene into the movie. So I guess maybe it would make sense at the end of the movie when you obviously see at the end when he really didn't learn much from this dance montage. But we have this really long sequence where he's just kind of teaching him how to dance. And then there's like Kevin Bacon's getting some help from like his little niece or something, kind of showing him how to dance. At one point, Chris Penn is sitting there on this bed, like kind of doing sit-ups and snapping, which I thought was great. And then they're walking down the hallway, sort of sauntering with a Walkman that's like, they have somehow two headphones plugged into this thing, and they're moving up and down in time. Like, and then there's one point when Chris Penn is like just tumbling. It's clearly not Chris Penn.
I was gonna say that, yeah, that's not. And there's some moves that don't even look like dancing.
No.
Like he just does like a somersault. It's almost like he taught him how to do some gymnastics.
So Ariel is now meeting up with Chuck behind the bleachers, it looks like, after maybe this whole dance sequence has happened somewhere. And she meets up with Chuck, and she says to Chuck basically that it's over. I don't want to see you anymore.
So yeah, she's breaking up with him, and he's really angry about it, and he's kind of calling her a floozy, and she's not having any of it and calls him stupid, which makes him even more angry. And then after he offends her one last time, she kind of just smacks him. And he retaliates by smacking her back like 10 times as hard. And as he's getting his truck to leave because she was still laying on the ground, but then she decides to grab a pipe and beat his truck up. And he is not having any of that. So then they start wrestling on the ground. And he kind of gets the better of her, gives her a few kicks on the ground, and gets in his truck and runs away and says, you know what? I don't like you anyways. And then as he's driving off, she throws a handful of rocks at his truck. She doesn't look like good here. Like, this is kind of like disturbing stuff. Like, she's got like black eyes and bloody nose and stuff.
Yeah, Footloose took a really dark turn here. I gotta say, like, this poor girl, she's just got the crap kicked out of her. Like, this guy's a scumbag. But then, she meets up with Kevin Bacon, and he's helping her he puts some ice on her, helps her out, and kind of getting her back to normal. And she gives him a box, and she makes it seem that she's kind of happy that he's going at her dad a bit. And he says, like, look, I don't really have anything against your dad. I just want to change this law. It's actually a nice moment in this where Kevin Bacon's not being a dick. And he's just saying, like, it's nothing personal against everybody. Like, I just want to make it so we can have this dance. Like, there shouldn't be a problem here. And, they have this moment where they kind of make up. And it's a really nice moment. And he sort of accepts the box. And then they kiss.
So the next day we're at school again. Again, we have no idea what time it is, but they're at school, and Kevin Bacon is at his locker, and Ariel comes up behind him and offers him some support in the way of a Bible, where she has different parts of the Bible leafed out that kind of speak about dancing.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a cheat sheet for Kevin Bacon for when he goes up to the town council.
Yeah. Hopefully that's going to come in handy when he talks to the Reverend about approving this dance. This prom, I guess is what they're calling it now.
And so later that evening, as he goes home, he goes to his house, and no sooner does he walk in the house that there is a loud noise, and they find out there's a brick thrown through the window, and the brick says "Burn in Hell" on it, and like it's a real nice town. And at this point, the uncle comes out and he starts giving Kevin Bacon crap again for no reason, and then Kevin Bacon finds out that his mom has actually lost her job because she stood up for Kevin Bacon, and he's being unfairly maligned in the town here. And so she told her boss to get wrecked, basically, and she lost her job. And that's good for mom. And they have a bit of a conversation about they have a bit of a conversation where you find out that Kevin Bacon's father left. I don't really think they explain why he left. Just that maybe he was the classic. He went for a pack of smokes thing. He's just like, I'll be back, and he left. I don't know, but Kevin basically has a speech about. He felt that he didn't believe in himself before because of his dad leaving, but he realizes that he's just got to cut Footloose and kick off the Sunday shoes. So that's what he's going to go do now. He's going to go kick off those Sunday shoes at the town council, because that is right where we're going next. So town council is called, and young Kevin Bacon, who is a 26-year-old, 18-year-old man, comes up and gives a speech, and he tells them. He starts citing some Bible verses, basically about making a joyful noise and celebrating with dance. I think there's some Psalms that he cites in there, a couple of them.
Yeah, some Psalms and Ecclesiastes.
Yes, about dancing and making a joyful noise, and sort of owns them with facts and logic, I guess you could say. I mean, it's I get maybe out at the end of the movie, but I just feel like I think they would have read this already if they're super religious, so they would already. To me, like they would have already had a response, been like, yeah, no, whatever. But
yeah, I feel like they should have been more prepared. As a reverend, he probably should have been prepared for that.
So basically, he says, "Let us cut foot loose," and you can see the town is behind this. Like a lot of people are being like, "Man, let us do our thing." And what happens is it goes down to a vote, and basically everybody says, "No, not happening." And so some people get up, they say, a couple of people, it's a big rabble, noise. It's outrageous. And a lot of people storm out and get mad.
Yeah. And then the next day we're at work at the flour mill, and Kevin Bacon is talking to his boss, and his boss feels bad for him that the motion to have the dance was denied. And he tells Kevin Bacon that, hey, you can use this place and have a dance, and you won't be subjected to the laws of Beaumont.
Yeah, you'll be just outside the town limits, and it's thumbs up your bums. You can't do nothing.
Yeah, they have a venue.
They got a place to rock and roll now. So now Ariel is really upset about what happened, and she goes and kind of confronts her dad here a bit. So one of the things that happens here is, I thought this is kind of funny. So there's this confrontation that she has with her dad. She says to him basically like, "You're over-parenting me. This is too much. You got to chill out and just let me live my life, man." And she one point she exclaims to him that she's not a virgin. And the look on John Lithgow's face here. This guy is such a great actor, man. It just looks like
he's awesome.
Yeah, it's like, I've got to pause here. It's just like in The Simpsons when they're like, like when Ralph gets his heart broken by Lisa, and they're like, you can see the exact moment his heart breaks. It's like, that's what I see right here. It's just like John Lithgow is a man being like, my daughter's not a virgin. Like, I want to die right now.
With the way she's acting, I don't know how he couldn't like assume that she is probably not a virgin, or like just with how reckless she is. But maybe she's good at hiding it too. I don't know. So right after that exchange, John Lithgow exits the church, and in the town square, we're having a good old-fashioned book burning. And they don't say what the book is. I really wish they would have said, because I was curious. But John Lithgow is like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Why are you burning books?" And he's like, "Well, we're doing this out of your guidance. This is what you told us to do." And he's like, No, this isn't what I spoke of. So we can see that just over the course of a couple days, John Lithgow is starting to get very soft now on the idea of all these restrictions.
Yeah, it seems like he's having a bit of a change of heart. So basically, John Lithgow comes over, and he's now talking to Kevin Bacon, and he sort of explains his side of the position, about what happened with his son and why he feels the way he does.
They find some common grounds here.
Yeah, they have a bit of a man-to-man, and he says to him, "Look, I don't approve of what you want to do, but at the same time, I'm not going to stop you."
The whole reason he went there was, or the whole reason they met was because he wanted permission to ask his daughter Ariel to the prom, and he reluctantly allows it, and he basically gives his daughter the same little lecture that I just want you to be safe. I'm not going to stop you from doing this.
Yeah, and basically, if you guys can do it, and you're not breaking the town rules, do your thing.
So he takes that to the next level, and the next day in church, he is basically expressing his leniency for the this dance that's going to come up.
He's telling the town basically kind of what he told them, like, look, I can't stop it, but let's just pray for them, which is actually kind of a nice thing to say. So you can see that he's softened up a lot here, and he's sort of chilling out a bit,
Yeah. So then after that, all the teenagers are excited. So every teenager goes and grabs their dirt bike, because every teenager in this town seems to have a dirt bike. And they all run out to the flour mill to clean it up and make it ready for a dance.
Yeah, there's like 10 dirt bikes with there's like 20 kids on these things. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it makes sense if you have a small town, like a rural town, where maybe everyone's got a little dirt bike or an ATV or something. I could kind of see that happening, but there's a lot of kids with dirt bikes. I haven't seen this many dirt bikes since Lost Boys, so it's a lot.
So basically, like the rest of this, it's just all just getting ready for a prom. If you've ever been to a prom in your life, then and you remember getting ready for it, that's exactly what we're watching. We're seeing girls get their dresses, and their mothers are offering them corsages.
And it's an 80s movie, so we should mention too that this is all being done in sort of a montage where everyone's dancing and cleaning. Yes. And they're all helping each other. They're all tossing flour bags and just having a good time.
What's this? Is this our third or fourth montage of the movie?
I feel like this is 4 now.
I think it's 4th.
It's been too many damn montages now. But at the end of this, you can see, they throw the switch, bang, all the lights come on, everyone's happy. We've got ourselves a prom.
And nobody's dancing at this prom, so it starts. Like, they got the lights on, and I will say, for this being a flour mill, it looks really good. I like all the stuff that they have strung around. It looks like an actual decent prom. I find it funny that they still have dustpans hanging on the wall and stuff, but hey, whatever. It's fine. But everybody's just awkward because, like we said earlier, nobody's allowed to dance in this town. So therefore, how does anybody know how to dance? They don't. So they're all just standing there awkwardly. And I guess it appears as though Kevin Bacon is late to his own prom. All this work that he put into this, he's late now.
Yeah, well, you gotta be fashionably late to prom, bro. Like only the losers show up first, So you gotta show up late with a little bit of a buzz on. That's how the cool kids roll the prom.
Yeah. So Willard and Kevin Bacon show up on the dirt bikes, and we're going to have our last aggressive encounter here, where Chuck is back to basically get revenge over Kevin Bacon stealing Ariel away from him after he beat her up. He already beat up Ariel. Now he's back to beat up Kevin Bacon. And actually, they start off with Willard, I should say. They're basically shoving Willard around, and 3 or 4 of them are kicking his butt. And then Kevin Bacon comes out, and in case you didn't know, Kevin Bacon also knows karate.
Yeah, okay, I was going to say.
He jumps off the porch and basically does a dragon kick.
He did the weakest ninja kick I've ever seen in a movie. That was garbage.
So he's doing hip tosses, throwing people over his shoulder, and just beating the crap out of all these bullies. Which I'm surprised, because they were all like shoving him around earlier.
Yeah.
And he did nothing.
That's a good point.
This guy even comes after him with a pipe. and he does like
he crane kicked him. He did the Karate Kid move. He crane kicked him.
He did the crane. Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what that was. He just ninja kicked him right in the face. It was on one foot, then a hop and a kick.
Yeah.
So he just knocks Chuck TF out, bro.
Yeah. So I do like this part. They didn't show it, but I feel like he probably went to his car and did a big line of cocaine and and walk into the dance completely unkempt and just screams, "Let's dance!" And cue our third rendition of Footloose, the song. And now Footloose has started, and we get. I will say this is one of the best dancing scenes I've seen in a movie. When I saw this made me happy. It kind of made me want to go to a dance. And living in the pandemic right now is not too much unlike Footloose.
Kinda. Yeah, you can't dance.
I can't dance anywhere.
You can't go anywhere to dance right now. It's forbade. And you know, this is such a cool place that they have set up with the light. The lights look great. There are like these yellows and pinks and blues and greens and reds. And
yeah, there's sparkling confetti all over the place.
Yeah, and at one point you sort of get this like it's like a light overlay that shows up over the camera. So you're kind of in the lights, like kind of hiding behind stuff, it seems like. And everyone's just having a good time dancing. And Chris Penn does this move, which I thought was hilarious. This was like, you remember in Friday the 13th Part 4 when Crispin Glover puts on the record and he starts dancing nonsensically? That's exactly what Chris Penn's dance moves look like. He's just doing these nonsensical like body dry, like what Jerry Seinfeld would call full body dry heave set to music. Like that's what this looked like. He was just doing these weird moves and he's just dancing kind of like a fish out of water. He's flopping around as he dances and they do this chest bump thing.
I think everyone looks like they're having a blast. I love it. And I really like the dance that they all do at the very end with Kevin Bacon. Like he's kind of leading in the front and they're like all behind him. And basically they're all kind of like do this dance and march towards the camera. And that's the end of Footloose.
Yeah. Okay. But I will say, as this is all happening and they're having this blast, like it is raining this confetti. Where the hell is this confetti coming from? Because it's not stopping.
I feel like they had bags of it above them and they just poked holes in it.
Yeah, but it's been raining for this entire movie, like a ton of confetti everywhere. This is like, how much confetti did they buy? It's like this factory that they had wasn't like a grain mill, it was a confetti mill and they're using all of it. The whole supply was just for this one dance at the end of this movie. And everyone's just having a great time, and that's Footloose.
So, I gotta say, I've said it once at the very beginning, and now that we've finished talking about it, I love this movie. This is one of the best old movies that I've never seen before. Like, I enjoyed this, and I would watch it again.
So this was not so much a bad movie for you guys. It's more of a good time.
I think this movie is bad in the way that the storyline is completely foolish. The idea that dancing is that important is kind of nuts. But with that said, I thought the actors were cool. They all stayed true to the parts. Everybody in this movie is a good actor.
Yeah. Oh,
like
totally.
there's actually nobody in this movie where you feel like they're just cheesing it up or hamming it up or anything like that. John Lithgow's awesome. Kevin Bacon's awesome. Sarah Jessica Parker is there.
Yeah.
And with that said, she really doesn't have that much of a part, anyways. But yeah, I thought this was good. It was easy to understand. As far as just a fun movie, this is pretty good. I would show this movie to anybody, unless you don't like the song Footloose,
or montages.
Yeah, if you don't like the song Footloose, there's a good chance you are not going to enjoy this movie.
Well, if you don't like the song Footloose, I don't know why you would watch a movie called Footloose, but you know, people make interesting life choices. But yeah, like the kids in this movie were incredibly reckless this entire movie, and I'm surprised there's not more kids that are dead every year in this town. I'm surprised there's any children at all. This is almost like this is crazy levels of recklessness by these kids in this small town. It is a fun movie. I think the premise is goofy. Like I said, if I didn't know there was actually some cases in real life, like I didn't know anything about Japan. That's crazy. But like things like, especially Dance Dance Revolution, that's a big game. How is that illegal? It's like a bunch of outlaws playing Dance Dance.
Maybe that's different. Maybe that's, I have no idea.
I don't know. Is that electronic dancing games? I don't know. When was Dance Dance made? I gotta look. Anyways, but there's probably a bunch of stuff you can nitpick here and there about, but overall it's not a bad movie. It's a goofy premise. Kevin Bacon smoke dancing is the greatest moment.
That's the best part. That is the best part of the movie. I think everybody should watch that. If you've never seen Footloose, you're even interested in watching it, just at least go on YouTube and look up that scene with Kevin Bacon dancing.
Yeah, Hot Rod will make a lot more sense.
There's there's actually a really great modern day parody of it that Kevin Bacon does on I believe it's the Jimmy Fallon.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
Another quick note, just a fun little piece of trivia. I guess ever since this movie, whenever Kevin Bacon goes to a wedding, as soon as he walks in, he goes right to the DJ or band and offers them $100 to not play Footloose.
Oh yeah. I could totally see that. I bet I would have bet it would. I thought it would have been more than that. Like, here's $500. If anyone says play Footloose, I want you to punch him in the mouth and say Kevin Bacon told you no.
Yeah, or if they ask you to play it, come back to me and I'll give you another $100 not to.
Yeah, I will give you whatever it takes to trump whatever they're talking about. So no, do not play it, because I could see that everyone's just like, "Hey man, dance!"
Do it, man. Let's do it.
Yeah, so someone probably like runs and be like, "Hey, I thought this was a party. Let's dance."
Yeah, wait. First, I need you to teach us all it, and then we'll do it.
maybe I would love to just walk up to him one day and be like, "You ever been busted for bopping?" Well, actually, Tim, I was going to ask you that. That's an important question here. We need to get to the hard facts here, because a lot of people want to know. Have you been busted for bopping?
Never.
Okay. I've been chased by the police for bopping before, but they ain't never caught me. You can't stop, won't stop the bop.
Can't stop the bop. Can't stop, won't stop. Bad boys.
Bop boys for life. Yeah. I think my biggest qualm with this movie is it's an hour and 45 minutes. This is it. You could.
I said that. I thought that too when I was watching it. I was like, how is this movie as long as what it actually is?
You have at least 3 to 4 montages that are 4 or 5 minutes apiece. So that almost alone is 20 minutes right there. You know what I mean?
And John Lithgow's whole story arc is incredibly drawn out too. Like him and his wife and his daughter have the same conversation like probably 5 or 6 times in this movie.
Yeah, you're totally right. And I mean, like, they could have, at least if you want to make an hour and 45, that's cool. But you could have, I feel like they should have built up some more of the backstory or some of it a little better than just the montages and stuff. Because like there was so many questions we had about all this stuff that happened here that they just sort of kind of, I mean, I guess it's just supposed to be it was supposed to be a fun teen movie, you know? So
yeah, I think so. I think more backstory on Kevin Bacon's character could have helped a little bit, but
yeah, especially been like, wait, where'd you come from? Because again, at the start of the movie,
like, why did you move here?
Yeah, they just show him in church and he's just there like smiling at people now, and all of a sudden he just knows everybody. So the whole relationship was so weird.
Yeah, you might be more sympathetic for his disdain of this little community if you understood where it was that he was coming from.
Yeah, or if you know, like, someone said something about him and then someone was just like, oh, be nice, like his dad, you know, left them or something. Like they could have done something just to fill in the backstory a little bit more, giving you some sort of line other than waiting, because it was like an hour into the movie when they finally told you, oh, like, Kevin Bacon's dad left. Because I had so many questions that it was just I had so many questions that it was just hard to I mean, I guess you don't have to focus on much, but I kept trying to think of stuff and figure stuff out that would be missing other stuff while I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on. I think it's not bad. It's not bad. I think it's kind of goofy. I really do like the soundtrack, like I said.
This soundtrack's awesome. And you know what? I still like the song.
I don't mind Footloose. Yeah, I don't want to hear it 3 times in a movie.
I don't need to hear it again right now, but I won't be too annoyed. Like, and you know, after seeing this movie, I think I like it a little bit more.
So I think that's pretty much it for this episode. Jim, you got anything else to add? Or
no, I got nothing.
Okay. But before we go real quick, just remember, again, we're on YouTube. We got videos. We try to release them every week. So if you could, you know, share them, like them, comment on them. We're also on Spotify. We're also on iTunes as well, too. So, and Instagram as well, too. So please, you know, come join the party. Come hang out, listen to our stuff, like it, tell us we suck, you know, or tell us you like it, too.
Watch Footloose.
Watch Footloose with us, and maybe some more movies. So I think maybe we'll ask Kevin. You got anything else to add?
Hey, what's this I see? I thought this was a party!